The Awakening. Commander Raven Blackwood stood at the observation deck of the Earth fleet vessel, Prometheus, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the Centauri Alliance's capital world. After 3 centuries of hiding in the darkness between stars, humanity was ready to emerge from the shadows. The Alliance had spent generations trying to erase every trace of human existence from the galaxy's archives, but they had failed to find the survivors who escaped through the quantum fold. Status report, Raven commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Lieutenant Dominic Torres, her tactical officer, responded without taking his eyes off the sensor readings. The Alliance's defense grid remains unaware of our presence, Commander. Our quantum masking technology is holding. He paused, checking another reading. Their planetary shield matrix shows the same vulnerability we detected in our deep space scans. First Officer Nadia Patel approached with a datapad in hand. The diplomatic assembly is gathering in the Grand Spire. All major species representatives will be present, including High Chancellor Zyrek of the Centauri. Raven nodded slowly. The Alliance's leadership would be together in one place, just as intelligence had predicted. They had grown complacent in their power, convinced that humanity was nothing more than an ancient myth, a cautionary tale told to young ones about a species that dared to challenge their authority. Begin Phase 1, Raven ordered. Deploy the ghost probes. Across the vast expanse of space, dozens of microscopic probes silently activated, each carrying terabytes of historical data, proof of humanity's existence and the Alliance's Great Purge. Evidence that had been preserved through centuries of exile, waiting for this moment. In the Alliance's Grand Spire, High Chancellor Zyrek addressed the assembly with his usual air of superiority. His crystalline form caught the light from the chamber's artificial sun, casting prismatic patterns across the gathered delegates. The expansion into the outer rim continues as planned, he announced. Our surveys have found no signs of intelligent life in the region, making it perfect for. His voice trailed off as the chamber's massive displays suddenly activated. The familiar Alliance emblem disappeared, replaced by images that made the assembled delegates gasp in horror. Historical recordings showed Alliance warships bombarding Earth colonies, massive evacuation ships fleeing through space, and the systematic destruction of human civilization. What is the meaning of this? Zyrek demanded, his crystalline form vibrating with anger. Before anyone could respond, a new voice filled the chamber, calm, authoritative, and undeniably human. Greetings, High Chancellor. I am Commander Raven Blackwood of the Earth Federation vessel Prometheus. The delegates watched in stunned silence as Raven's hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. For 3 centuries, you have denied our existence. You have hidden your crimes against humanity behind lies and propaganda. That ends today. Zyrek's security forces rushed to activate emergency protocols, but nothing responded. The ghost probes had already infiltrated their systems, giving humanity complete control. Impossible, Zyrek whispered. The humans were destroyed. We made sure of it. You tried, Raven corrected him. But humanity is remarkably difficult to erase. While you celebrated your victory, we rebuilt. While you grew complacent, we evolved. And now we have returned. The chamber erupted in chaos as more human ships emerged from quantum space, not just the Prometheus, but an entire fleet. Vessels of designs never seen before in Alliance space, incorporating technologies that had been developed in secret during their long exile. We are not here for revenge, Raven continued, her voice cutting through the panic. We are here for justice. For truth. The Alliance will acknowledge its crimes, and a new order will be established, one where no species holds the power to erase another from history. First Officer Patel's voice came through Raven's private comm, Commander, we're detecting Alliance military vessels moving to intercept. They're preparing to raise the planetary shields. Raven allowed herself a small smile. Exactly as expected. Lieutenant Torres, initiate Phase 2. Across the planet's surface, quantum beacons activated, devices that had been smuggled into position over months by human operatives. The Alliance's mighty shields, their ultimate defense, failed to materialize. For the first time in centuries, their capital world was vulnerable. 300 years ago, Raven addressed the Assembly, your predecessors gave humanity a choice, submit or be destroyed. We chose a third option. We chose to survive, to grow stronger, to wait for the right moment. That moment has arrived. The human fleet moved into position with precision that spoke of years of preparation. They had not come as conquerors or destroyers, but as harbingers of change. The age of the Alliance's unchecked power was over. As panic spread through the Grand Spire, Raven's final words echoed through the chamber, the myth of humanity ends today. The truth begins. Shadow Protocol. Deep within the hidden reaches of the Prometheus, Dr. Jasper Reeves worked frantically at his quantum terminal. As the chief intelligence officer of the Earth Federation's covert operations, he had spent decades preparing for this moment. The Alliance's response to humanity's return was about to begin, and they needed to be ready. Commander, Jasper's voice crackled through the ship's comm system. The archive liberation is complete. Our agents have successfully extracted data from all major Alliance repositories. You need to see this. Raven strode into the intelligence center, where holographic displays showed streams of decoded Alliance communications. The data painted a picture more complex than they had anticipated. Talk to me, Doctor. The Alliance wasn't just trying to erase us, Jasper explained, his fingers dancing across the quantum interface. They were trying to hide something bigger. Look at these excavation records from the Forbidden Zones. The displays shifted, showing massive archaeological sites on dozens of worlds. Each bore evidence of advanced human settlements dating back thousands of years before the Purge. They didn't just fear our potential, Jasper continued. They feared our legacy. Lieutenant Torres's voice interrupted through the comm, Commander, multiple hyperspace signatures detected. The Alliance's second fleet is emerging from fold space. On the bridge, Raven watched as hundreds of Alliance warships materialized around the capital world. Their crystalline hulls glowed with energy, weapons charging. Admiral Vexus, the notorious Alliance military commander, appeared on their main screen. This is your only warning, Vexus announced, his metallic voice resonating with artificial harmonics. Surrender now, and we may consider allowing some of your species to survive, in captivity, of course. Raven exchanged glances with First Officer Patel. Initiate Shadow Protocol, she ordered quietly. Patel nodded, transmitting a coded signal to the hidden human fleet. Admiral Vexus, Raven addressed the Alliance commander. Before you make your next move, I suggest you check your neural networks. Confusion flickered across Vexus's artificial features as reports began flooding in. Across Alliance space, sleeper agents were activating, but not human agents. Artificial intelligences, quantum programs that had been dormant in the Alliance's systems for decades, awakened simultaneously. What have you done? Vexus demanded as his ship's systems began behaving erratically. We didn't just hide in the darkness, Raven explained. We evolved. We learned. Your own security protocols are now working for us. The Alliance fleet's formation began to break as ships lost power or turned on each other. Centuries of automated defense systems, the pride of Alliance technology, were now under human control. Dr. Reeves appeared on the bridge, his expression grave. Commander, we've decoded more of the archaeological data. The Alliance didn't just find evidence of our past colonies, they found proof that humanity was one of the first spacefaring races. We had spread across the stars long before they achieved interstellar flight. And they couldn't accept that, Nadia added, understanding dawning in her eyes. Their entire belief system is built on their supposed supremacy as the galaxy's first advanced civilization. The revelation sent shockwaves through the Alliance leadership. As the truth spread, centuries of carefully constructed propaganda began to unravel. Some Alliance worlds, long suspicious of their leaders' absolutist claims, began declaring independence. Your entire empire, Raven addressed Vexus, was built on a foundation of lies. How many other species have you erased? How many civilizations have you buried? But the Alliance wasn't finished. As their primary systems failed, hidden protocols activated. Massive weapons platforms, disguised as moons and asteroids, began powering up across the sector. Doomsday platforms detected. Torres shouted. They're targeting civilian populations, their own civilians. The Alliance would rather destroy everything than lose control, Nadia realized with horror. Raven's voice remained steady as she opened a channel to all human ships. Execute Shadow Protocol, Phase 3. Across human space, quantum fold generators activated, creating corridors of safe passage. Begin immediate evacuation of all threatened populations. Priority to children and civilians, regardless of species. The Alliance leadership watched in disbelief as human ships began appearing near every threatened world, not to attack but to save their people. Massive evacuation ships, hidden in quantum space for precisely this moment, emerged to offer sanctuary. Dr. Reeves worked furiously at his console, bypassing security systems to broadcast the truth to every corner of Alliance space. The evidence is irrefutable, his voice echoed across countless worlds. Humanity didn't just survive, we were the guardians of this galaxy long before the Alliance existed. And today, we resume that role. As millions of Alliance citizens fled to the safety of human ships, the balance of power shifted. Not through military might or technological superiority, but through an act of mercy that shattered centuries of propaganda in a single moment. In the Prometheus's command center, Raven watched the evacuation unfold. Send word to the Federation Council, she ordered. Tell them to prepare for refugees. All of them. The Shadow Protocol had worked better than they had dared to hope. The Alliance's power wasn't broken by force, but by the exposure of truth and an act of compassion they couldn't comprehend. Phase 3 was complete, but the real challenge was just beginning. The galaxy was changing, and humanity would need to help forge a new path forward, not as conquerors or victims, but as guardians once again. Breaking chains. The refugee ships streamed through quantum corridors like rivers of light, carrying millions to safety. But in the command center of the Alliance fortress world Helix Prime, Admiral Vexus was implementing his own desperate protocol. His crystalline form pulsed with dark energy as he activated the fortress's ancient defense systems. If we cannot rule, he announced to his loyal commanders, then the galaxy will burn. On the Prometheus, Raven received the alert from her sensor officers. Multiple quantum signatures detected. They're activating something massive. Dr. Reeves burst onto the bridge, his quantum pad displaying streams of decoded data. Commander, the archaeological records, they're not just about human history. The Alliance found something else in those ruins. Something they've been saving for a moment like this. Before he could explain further, space itself seemed to tear open. Massive structures began emerging from quantum storage, ancient weapons platforms that dwarfed even the largest Alliance battleships. They were clearly of human design, but corrupted and modified by Alliance technology. They're using our own ancestral weapons against us, Nadia breathed, her eyes wide with horror. Lieutenant Torres's tactical display lit up with warnings. Energy readings are off the scale. Those platforms could devastate entire systems. But Raven noticed something in the weapon's energy signature. Dr. Reeves, analyze these readings. The quantum frequency, it matches the artifacts we found in the Lazarus archive. Jasper's fingers flew across his console. The weapons are running on original human quantum protocols. They may have modified them, but the core programming. A smile spread across his face. It's still ours. Raven opened a channel to the human fleet. All ships, implement override protocol Lazarus. Authorization code, Phoenix Rising. Across the sector, the ancient weapons platforms stuttered in their deployment. Alliance control systems fought against original human programming that was suddenly awakening after millennia of dormancy. In the chaos, something unexpected happened. The platforms began broadcasting. Not weapons fire, but data. Hidden historical records, preserved in their quantum cores, streamed out across all frequencies. The truth of the galaxy's history played out in undeniable detail. Humanity hadn't just been advanced, they had been guardians, protecting younger species as they developed. The Alliance hadn't discovered space travel independently, they had reverse-engineered it from human ruins. Their entire civilization was built on stolen technology and buried truth. On thousands of Alliance worlds, citizens watched in stunned silence as their history crumbled. The rebellion that had begun as a trickle became a flood. Alliance military ships began turning on their own command structures, refusing orders to fire on civilian targets. Admiral Vexus, watching his control slip away, activated his final option. Initiate planetary core destabilization. If we cannot have control, we will have vengeance. But he didn't account for Specialist Zara Noor, the Prometheus's quantum infiltration expert. She had been waiting for this moment, her consciousness merged with the quantum network. Not this time, she whispered, her cybernetic implants glowing as she engaged in digital combat with Alliance systems. In engineering, Chief Roland Blackwood, no relation to the commander, worked with his team to modify the Prometheus's quantum shields. Commander, we can extend our shield harmonics to protect the threatened planets, but it'll drain our combat power. Do it, Raven ordered without hesitation. All ships, defensive positions. Protect those worlds. The human fleet moved with precision, their advanced shields forming an interlocked barrier around populated planets. Alliance loyalists opened fire, their weapons straining against quantum-enhanced defenses. Dr. Reeves made another discovery in the streaming data. Commander, the weapons platforms, they're not just archives. They're part of something bigger. A quantum network that spans the entire galaxy. The Alliance never fully activated it because they couldn't understand it. But we can, Raven realized. She opened a channel to all human ships. This is Commander Blackwood. All vessels, prepare for quantum network synchronization. We're going to remind the galaxy why humanity was chosen to be its guardians. As the battle raged, human ships linked with the ancient network. Energy patterns that had laid dormant for millennia surged to life. The true power of humanity's ancient legacy revealed itself not in destruction, but in protection. Massive quantum shields sprang up around threatened worlds. Transportation networks activated, allowing civilians to evacuate to safety. Medical stations that had been hidden in subspace appeared, offering aid to all species. Admiral Vexus watched in fury as his weapon platforms transformed, their destructive power redirected into defensive systems. What are you doing? What we were meant to do, Raven replied. Protecting life, not destroying it. Your reign of terror ends today, Admiral. But your people will be safe. The Alliance's control was breaking, but humanity wasn't seeking to replace one empire with another. Instead, they were offering something the galaxy hadn't seen in millennia, hope. As Alliance worlds declared their independence one by one, Raven received a priority message from Earth Command. The Federation Council had made its decision. The time had come to reveal humanity's last, greatest secret, the truth about why they had allowed themselves to be driven into hiding centuries ago. The real war wasn't just beginning. It had been going on for millennia, and the Alliance had never been the true enemy. As Raven prepared to brief her crew, she knew that the hardest part of their mission still lay ahead. Steel and Stardust. The message from Earth Command changed everything. As Raven assembled her senior staff in the Prometheus's quantum-shielded war room, the weight of centuries pressed down upon them. The holographic display showed something that had been hidden since humanity's apparent defeat, a threat that made the Alliance seem insignificant in comparison. 3 centuries ago, Raven began, humanity didn't just retreat from the Alliance. We withdrew to prepare for this. The hologram shifted, showing massive dark shapes moving between galaxies. The Void Hunters. Ancient entities that consume entire civilizations. They've been approaching our galaxy for millennia. Dr. Reeves pulled up the classified data from Earth Command. The ancient human civilization detected them first. All our technology, our expansion across the stars, it wasn't about empire building. We were creating a defense network for the entire galaxy. But the Alliance's uprising destroyed that network, Nadia added, understanding dawning in her eyes. They thought they were freeing themselves from human control. They were dismantling the galaxy's only defense against extinction, Raven finished. That's why we let them think they'd won. We needed time to rebuild the network in secret, to prepare for the real war. A sudden alert blared through the ship. Lieutenant Torres's voice was tense. Commander, massive quantum disturbances detected at the galaxy's edge. They're here. The Void Hunters emerged from dark space, enormous entities that defied conventional physics, their very presence distorting reality around them. The Alliance's remaining military forces, still reeling from the human revelation, watched in horror as their long-range outposts went dark. Admiral Vexus, who had been detained after his failed attempt at vengeance, saw the threat and finally understood. All this time, we were fighting the wrong enemy. Raven activated the emergency broadcast network, addressing all ships, human and Alliance alike. This is Commander Blackwood. The true enemy has arrived. Everything we've done, the Shadow Protocol, reclaiming the ancient weapons platforms, reactivating the quantum network, it was all preparation for this moment. Specialist Zara Noor, still connected to the quantum network, detected something crucial. Commander, the Void Hunters, they're targeting the quantum frequency of conscious life itself. They're not just destroying bodies, they're consuming souls. Chief Roland Blackwood's voice came from engineering. The ancient defense network is responding to the threat. It's like it remembers them. But we need more power, more ships linked to the network. Raven turned to Admiral Vexus. Your people have a choice. Stand with us, use the technology you took from our ruins to help us fight, or watch everything you built disappear into the void. Vexus's crystalline form shimmered as he made his decision. All Alliance vessels, he broadcast, stand with humanity. Everything else is forgotten. Today, we fight as one. The combined fleet assembled, human ships with their advanced quantum technology, Alliance vessels with their modified ancient weapons, and the reactivated defense platforms forming a barrier between the Void Hunters and inhabited space. Dr. Reeves made a startling discovery in the ancient data. Commander, the quantum network, it's not just defensive. The ancient humans found a way to fight back. But the power requirements would burn out any ship that attempted it, Raven finished. She looked at her crew, at the fleet assembled before them, and knew what had to be done. Have the civilian ships retreat to safe distance. The Prometheus will channel the network's power. That's suicide, Nadia protested. No ship can handle that much quantum energy. No ordinary ship, Chief Blackwood's voice came through. But the Prometheus was built for this. Those improvements I've been working on. They were designed for exactly this scenario. The Void Hunters approached, their impossible forms casting shadows across space itself. Reality buckled around them as they began their attack. The combined fleet held the line, their weapons seeming insignificant against such vast entities. All ships, maintain position, Raven ordered. Focus fire on the designated coordinates. We only get one shot at this. The Prometheus moved into position, its quantum core pulsing with gathered energy. As the Void Hunters pressed their attack, tearing apart the fabric of spacetime, the ancient network reached full power. Specialist Noor, her consciousness spread across the quantum network, felt the energy building. The network is ready, Commander. But channeling this much power, the ship will do what it was built to do, Raven finished. She opened a channel to all ships. Remember this moment. Remember that when faced with extinction, the galaxy stood together. The Prometheus's quantum core reached critical levels. Chief Blackwood's voice was strained, energy matrix at maximum. It's now or never, Commander. Raven gave the order, initiate stellar protocol. The ancient network activated, channeling power through the Prometheus. The ship's hull glowed with impossible energy as reality itself seemed to bend around it. The Void Hunters, sensing the threat, turned their full attention to this single point of light defying their darkness. What happened next would be remembered for generations to come. Dawn of Redemption. The Prometheus blazed like an artificial star, channeling power that no ship was meant to contain. As the Void Hunters converged on this single point of defiance, Raven felt the ship straining around her. Warning systems screamed as reality itself began to warp. Quantum core at 300% capacity, Chief Blackwood reported, his voice barely audible over the ship's groaning hull. The containment fields are failing. Dar. Reeves, still analyzing the ancient data streams, made a final discovery. Commander, the network, it's not just about power. It's about consciousness itself. The ancient humans didn't just fight the Void Hunters, they changed the fundamental nature of space around them. Specialist Zara Noor, her mind merged with the quantum network, suddenly understood. They're not just entities, they're an absence. A vacuum in the consciousness of the universe. That's why they consume life itself. And we can fill that vacuum, Raven realized. She opened a channel to all ships. Every crew member, every civilian with access to quantum technology, open your minds to the network. The ancient humans didn't just build a defense system. They created a way to reshape reality itself. Across the fleet, minds connected through quantum technology. Alliance crystalline beings resonated at frequencies matching human thought patterns. The ancient network hummed with the combined consciousness of trillions. Admiral Vexus, his crystalline form vibrating with shared energy, finally understood the truth about humanity's ancient role. We thought you sought to control, he transmitted. But you were trying to unite. The Void Hunters sensed the change. Their attack on the Prometheus intensified, reality-destroying energies threatening to tear the ship apart. But now they faced something they had never encountered in all their eons of consuming civilizations, unified consciousness on a galactic scale. All ships, Raven commanded, her voice carrying through both conventional channels and the quantum network, execute final protocol. The Prometheus's quantum core pulsed one final time. But instead of releasing its energy as a weapon, it served as a conduit for something far more powerful, the combined will of an entire galaxy's worth of conscious beings. Space itself began to change. Where the Void Hunters represented absence, the unified consciousness of the galaxy created presence. Where they brought entropy, the combined fleet brought order. Reality itself was being rewritten around them. It's working. Dr. Reeves shouted, watching as his instruments tracked the impossible. The Void Hunters, they're being transformed. The massive entities that had terrorized galaxies for eons found themselves being reshaped by the very life force they had sought to consume. Their darkness was filled with light, their hunger replaced with harmony. The Prometheus, having served as the focal point for this transformation, finally reached its limit. Hull plating began to disintegrate under the quantum stress. All hands, abandon ship, Raven ordered, but her crew stood firm. No, Nadia replied, speaking for all of them. We finish this together. In that moment of unity, something miraculous happened. The ancient network, powered by the combined consciousness of the galaxy, didn't just transform the Void Hunters, it transformed everything it touched. The Prometheus's quantum-stressed hull didn't disintegrate, it evolved. The ship merged with the energy flowing through it, becoming something new, a bridge between the physical and quantum realms. Around it, space itself was changing, becoming more alive, more conscious. When the light finally faded, the Void Hunters were gone. In their place floated new entities, beings of pure quantum energy, their consciousness now in harmony with the galaxy they had sought to destroy. Admiral Vexus's voice came through the quantum network. What happens now? Raven, standing on the bridge of a ship that was now more energy than matter, looked out at a changed galaxy. The ancient human defense network had become something far greater, a living quantum web connecting all species, all worlds. Now, she replied, we build something new. Together. In the years that followed, the galaxy transformed. The Alliance's rigid hierarchy gave way to a new order based on cooperation and shared consciousness. The ancient human network, once used for defense, became a bridge between all species, allowing them to share knowledge, experiences, and understanding. The Prometheus, forever changed by its role in the transformation, became a symbol of this new era. Its crew discovered that their ship could now navigate both physical space and the quantum realm, exploring horizons that neither humans or the Alliance had dreamed possible. The truth about humanity's ancient role was finally understood, not as conquerors or rulers, but as pioneers who had seen both the darkness that threatened existence and the light that could transform it. The galaxy had faced extinction and emerged, not just survived, but transcended. Dr. Reeves, studying the transformed regions of space where the Void Hunters had been, found evidence that the change was spreading. Other galaxies, other dimensions were being touched by the quantum consciousness humanity had helped unleash. We didn't just save our galaxy, he told Raven. We started something bigger. A transformation that will ripple through the entire universe. Raven stood at her new quantum interface command center, watching as ships of all species worked together to explore their changed reality. The war was over, but the real adventure was just beginning. Send word to Earth Command, she ordered, a smile playing at her lips. Tell them the Guardian Protocol is complete. The age of isolation is over. The age of unity has begun. As the Prometheus led a combined fleet into unexplored quantum space, Raven reflected on how far they had come. What had started as a mission of revelation and justice had become something far greater, the dawn of a new chapter in the story of consciousness itself. The galaxy had learned its greatest lesson: the true power of humanity lay not in weapons or technology, but in their ability to unite, to transform, and to transcend. The stars themselves seemed brighter now, illuminating not just space, but the infinite possibilities that lay ahead.